about the game going on too. So we're live. Hey everybody, Pearlo, me,
Hello, everybody.
maybe Rico. We'll see. He's having some technical difficulties last time. So real quick before we get going, I just wanted to shout out the Calgary Flames organization and Chris Snow, the assistant GM who has ALS, and it looks like he's going to pass. His wife shared it on social media. It's been widely reported by Elliot Friedman and Frank Saravelli and all the hockey media. That's why I'm repping the Flame. I was going to rock the Flames jersey, but it's actually quite nice. It's actually quite nice today, so I just didn't want to be too hot in the office. We've had kind of a very nice fall here in Alaska. How's it going there in Edmonton? Is it still you guys?
It's actually beautiful here. It's really nice. It's supposed to rain coming up, but I love Edmonton and I love Alberta in the fall. It's just the perfect
Alaska's the same. We just don't have a very long one, so
it's so nice. Though. It's a perfect temperature, not too hot, not too cold. I love it. Yeah.
That's cool, man. Yeah, that's cool. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, we did not talk about last show was, did you see Stamkos' presser at the camp?
Yeah.
So it looks like they're going to cut bait with him, so this could be his last year. Just hypothetical, where would you like to see him go?
I've been thinking about it, and I'll tell you, the first team that came to my mind right off the top was the Boston Bruins. Who needs a number one center more than the Boston Bruins? And they've got a short window right now with Marchand being 35. They've got some older players, but if they want to keep the ball rolling for a little longer, I wouldn't. And the other one I came up with, especially if the cap goes up high enough, is the Washington Capitals, which is your team.
Yeah, no, I could see Washington. Their window is if not closed, very narrow. We previewed the teams. I've been looking at the rosters. I've been seeing it's right now. If you're just joining us, thanks. I see we got a couple people in chat. That's awesome. There is a game. There is some preseason games on. Pearlo and I have got. Pearlo's got some ducats on this Vancouver Edmonton game for pizza money. I'm watching that game. It's 10 shots at 3 Edmonton. The second period just started. We're a minute 55 in. I did like what I saw from Vancouver in their penalty kill on the power play, though. I mean, they're going to be Rick Tocchet. They're not going to mail it in any night. I think they're going to be a.
I actually kind of think they got a really good shot to make the playoffs myself with Demko and.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, like we talked about the team. I think there's going to be 5 teams from this Pacific Division that make the playoffs.
Yeah,
I think.
And if that's the case, I agree with you that Seattle makes it.
Yeah, I do. I just don't think that the Central is so. We don't know what Nashville is going to be. I'm worried about Minnesota's depth up the middle. And Gustafsson stepped up, but look, Marc-Andre Fleury is not getting any younger, man. So we'll just, we'll just see what happens there. So, and then of course, Colorado or whatever, they're going to be in the mix. They looked good. I watched them play Vegas yesterday, or 2 nights ago, maybe, I can't think. And they looked like, they're going to be solid. We'll see though. I mean, hey, Soul Search Gurus, thanks for joining us, man. Really appreciate you coming in. So
let me get the chat up here. So
again, condolences to the Snow family. But this Stamkos situation, where do you? So Pearlo, if you just joined us, Pearlo said he thinks Boston Bruins would be an interesting place for him. So I wonder, what if Tampa Bay is out of it? Like, let's say they have Let's say Kucherov point goes down. That's not uncommon. Those guys have had injury problems. And maybe say Vasilevsky, he's been heavy. They get injured, and they're just not going to be a playoff team. Do you think they would trade Stamkos at the deadline?
I mean, if they really blow it, I would maybe, right? It's a very awkward situation. I don't know if they're posturing or maybe Stamkos is asking for quite a bit of scratch.
It sounds like they didn't even talk to him, Pearlo. He said they haven't even met with him. There's been no discussions. So how do they know what he wants if they haven't even talked to him?
I think let's take devil's advocate here. Is it possible that they're trying to put a fire in his belly? You know what I mean? Like to get the best out of Stamkos to try to prove himself. But it's weird. Why would you want a Stamkos to prove himself?
I mean,
it seems disrespectful.
I keep hating to go back to this, but I was at the playoff games. They were the better team.
Oh,
they
had
no business losing to Toronto. I hate to say it.
No doubt.
Happy for Leafs Nation that they got out of the first round, but even they will tell you, the diehards, they didn't, they should have won the year before. Like the Leafs played a great series last year. This year, I thought, wow, they didn't look very good. But I'm telling you, man, I know you don't like the analytical side that what they did, but I like that they got a lot of toughness. Ooh, bad turnover by Edmonton. Ooh, almost turned it into a score.
I'm actually watching the Calgary-Winnipeg game.
Oh, you got Calgary-Winnipeg on. All right. How's that looking?
This is weird. Calgary is doing what they did last year. They're out shooting Winnipeg 23-8, and it's tied 1-1.
Yeah.
That was last year's Calgary.
They probably shot the worst shooting percentage, but they also, I think that was an old Sittler. Sittler. Sorry, Daryl Sutter. He has that throw the puck on net.
Yeah, he did that in LA too. Yeah.
I mean, they were a trap team
in LA. They couldn't score to save their life. The last 2 years in LA, remember that? When he was the last 2 years he coached LA, same thing.
I think that his style of coaching just is not long for players. I think you can have it for 3 or 4 years, and he got him over the top. I just think he's one of those guys where it's like, you just can't have him be your coach for 15 years. I just think he wears guys out.
Well, not at this stage, no. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that.
So I'll tell you, you're a little bit clearer on the YouTube feed than you are for me. So that's cool.
No, that's good.
So yeah, I just want to look. We'll figure it out. I think a green screen is going to help crispen up your thing, but really it's more about your internet speed and your camera settings and stuff. So we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, maybe we'll get together off.
Well, if I send you the green screen,
I don't know anything about this stuff. So
yeah, if I send you the green screen, I'm just going to send you a category 8 cable that you can plug directly into your modem too. So that could help eliminate just based on what your internet speed at home is.
Edmonton's out shooting Vancouver 14-3.
Yeah, I have 12-3, so you might be a little bit. I guess I'm behind.
Might be a little bit.
I have 13-3 credited, 14-30 left. I was behind. Apologize for those. I didn't broadcast it. We were going to do a live. Pearlo's covering the Flames, and I'm covering Edmonton. And look, I mean, to be honest with you, Pearlo, I think those two teams are the most interesting teams in all of the West right now is Calgary and Edmonton. One, we got to see the jerseys for the outdoor game there. What'd you think?
The outdoor game? Yeah. I
really liked Calgary's. I liked Edmonton.
Calgary's a lot.
Yeah, I really liked Calgary's. I thought I was like, I got to get me a Calgary one. But I didn't mind the Edmonton one either. I don't know about the number on the front, but I didn't hate it. You didn't like it?
No, I know it was fine. But I liked Calgary's better, just like you. Yeah, I think Calgary's is really good.
I'm a fan of that Edmonton Todd McFarlane Sprocket jersey. I always have liked that one. I just think it's such
the Oilers here, like all the Edmonton people here, they want that to be their jersey. Period. End of story.
Yeah, it's a cool jersey, man. It's just a really cool design. I've never seen anything like it. I like the reverse retro they did this year too. That's one I'd like to have. I got to get me a Draisaitl. I'm a German. My family's all German and stuff. I should totally be repping Draisaitl, man. He's a sick player. Everybody's got a McDavid jersey, right? So I don't want a McDavid jersey. Yeah. So we'll get offline about
that's right. What's this soul search? I won't be able to use my freaking Whalers hat if I have a green screen. That's right. I never thought of it.
Yeah, you'll have to. Well, you know what? I can fix that too. Tell me your hat size and I'll send you a blue Whalers hat. Because I
No,
like that you
I'll get it.
represent.
I'll just get a different Whalers hat. That's fine. You don't need to send me that. But I should get other hats anyways. I should start having.
Yeah, I try to mix it up. I mean, my big thing is I don't have any hair, so I don't want my bald head to be a glare. So it's just always helpful if I have a hat. I mean, you can't see, but I probably have close to 200 hats. I've been bald since I was in my 20s, man. So,
oh, is that right? Yeah, it took me a little longer than that.
Yeah. You still look like you have quite a bit of hair, though.
Yeah, but I mean, just like my dad, I've had this much of hair since I was like 35.
Yeah.
And I
mine all
don't
started coming out when I was like 27. Yeah.
My dad is now 76, and he has this amount of hair. Same
amount. Yeah, so you may not lose. You can do stuff now if you can afford to waste the money and get it back. I just was like, I look fine without it. So, and I never had good hair. I never had good hair. I always had hair that was just kind of oily, thin, shitty hair. And so I was like, I am annoyed I still have to shave it. I'd like to get it all taken, like get all the hair removed. I love the beard. The beard's easy though, man. I wash it once a day and I dye it once a month. I mean, once it starts coming in all gray, I'll stop dyeing it, but it's all patchy. And so I'm like,
So, okay. Kuzi in Washington.
Yeah, I think he's going to
did not like Laviolette.
I think it was more than that. I do think it was a little bit more than that, but I do think Laviolette was not somebody he saw eye to eye. And he's already came out in Russian Machine Never Breaks, covered it a little bit, that he's really excited about playing for Carberry. So Carberry was an assistant with the Leafs last year, but he coached in the Caps farm system, coached the Hershey Bears and stuff. But excuse me. So 100%, I don't want to turn this into anything about the Capitals long term, but they've got to get stuff from Mantha, Kuznetsov. They got a lot of guys on that. See where Backstrom is. Is he going to regain his form? I'm right there with you. So I totally understand. If you're just joining us, Pearlo's watching the Calgary-Winnipeg game, and I have the Vancouver-Edmonton game on at the same time. It's 12:43, and Vancouver is on the power play. It's still 0-0. Edmonton's out shooting them, but I've liked what I've seen from Christian Wolanin. I see a couple guys there. They got some young guys on the line for Edmonton. I saw McDavid, Nurse, and Draisaitl playing tonight, so Edmonton's got the big guns in the lineup. And Pearlo and I were talking about the if you guys are in the chat, throw something in the chat, like what if you saw the Heritage Classic jerseys for the Battle of Alberta, which, boy, I really hope Calgary does rebound, because it's so good when those teams are good, But I don't know, man. Even when Calgary was kind of down in the dumps, they always tend to play Edmonton tough. Soul says, notice that the Flames have, there we go. I'll put it on the screen for you. Hat Beard. That was quite an exhibition game between the Canucks and the Flames. Yeah, 10-0. Wow. Yeah. What did you think of that? We didn't talk about that either, because the Flames beat Vancouver 10-0 in the preseason. I'm glad Soul Surge brought that up.
Minus 1.5 in that game, because I figured, I didn't know, but I figured.
You bet this 9.5 over 9.5?
No. Minus 1.5. I had them on the puck line.
Oh, okay.
I had the Flames on the puck line because
so they won.
I figured with that new coach was going to be like, I don't care if this is a preseason game. You guys get out there and bust ass here. Like, it's the new coach, right? So I figured that they would probably slam that first preseason.
Well, I wonder, Pearlo, I think it might be just as simple as that he was the assistant coach last year. He really knows the players. He probably had in his head what he wanted to do. And look, they played a lot of the young guys and stuff too. But what he wanted to do with certain personnel, and ran it like this is his first go. I'm going to see how it looks. And they just... And nothing against Vancouver, but their staff is still relatively new. They haven't been a whole season there or nothing. So I really feel like that might be why we saw what we saw from Vancouver. Because I'll tell you right now, yeah, they're being outshot by Edmonton, but like, okay, Kane's out there. I mean, Edmonton's got its top line or top two. I saw Fogle. They got guys that are going to be in the top six for them. I didn't see Nugent Hopkins, so he's not playing tonight, I don't think. But I've liked what I've seen from Vancouver. I don't know if you've gotten to switch this on. Vancouver.
No, I got it on right now.
Yeah, Vancouver looks. So this is Pearlo. This is exactly what we'll be doing when we get into the full NHL Nightly for Fans First Sports Network. Everybody, this show will be called NHL Nightly. I will be doing this probably 5 days a week. I'm going to try to take the weekends off, Mondays and Tuesdays. But we'll be going live for an hour or two every night around the 10 o'clock hour East Coast. I think is probably what it may be earlier. I may be earlier and then have Pearlo jump on. I'm going to try to have people from those. If there's a game we're profiling as we're having a hockey talk, a hockey discussion, we're going to have interviews and stuff too that I'll do offline and play after. But most of the time we'll be talking live about what's going on, what we see, what we like, who's playing great. Pearlo's really into the analytics and the gambling. He's going to give you that side. Rico's covering the Ontario area. When he's here, he's really going to give us he spends a lot of time doing research and reading. And then I just try to cover the whole league.
Rico's just a great hockey mind, period.
Yeah, he's good, man. And I think, and just for me, man, like I want to take this to new heights, even if we end up being independent and doing our own thing again. If this doesn't work out, I want to see us turn this into what we can turn it into. And I think it's very important to have somebody boots on the ground there in Ontario, because you just
Vancouver just scored, by the way.
Like I'm in Alaska. The great thing about me is I can watch all the games during the day. The time difference helps. I never not watch the West Coast games. I always watch these. Even when I worked in the military, if I missed a period, I would watch East Coast games. I'd be listening to them on the radio until I got home. Then I'd have 5 or 6 games up. So I've been watching hockey pretty solid. Oh, Vancouver just scored, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I just said that. I watch a divorce-worthy amount of hockey. I have every single game, every night.
Well, don't say that. Don't say that. I don't want that happening to you, buddy.
No. I have a divorce-worthy. I just have an amazing wife who loves.
I have the same. I have the exact same.
She just loves she just loves me loving something. So, but in most cases, you wouldn't be able to get away with the amount of hockey.
You know what helps me too? My wife is a big hockey fan too.
That helps. Yeah, my wife's not. But
so she was born in Canada. It's in her blood. They're hockey fans, but she's a diehard New York Rangers fan. It's funny because she likes everything else Chicago. I go, why don't you like the Blackhawks? They won a ton, and they don't have to play the Capitals in the playoffs, so you don't have to have this conflict.
Caroline's the only thing Caroline's Pittsburgh. She likes Crosby a lot.
Yeah, we still have our divorce cup. Yeah, so I like Crosby. He's a hard player to hate for sure.
How do you hate? You're being a Washington fan. If anybody's going to hate him, it's you. But
well, I do. I hate him, but I don't hate him. Like, here's the thing. It's just they crammed how great he's so much better. Blah blah blah, dude. They never talk about that he plays with a Hart Trophy winner in Malkin. Like he's been one of the top 5 NHL. I mean, it's like Ovechkin's never had anybody like Crosby's played with 4 or 5 Hall of Famers. Name a Hall of Famer Alex Ovechkin's played for. Sergei Fedorov at the end of his career. And that is really it. He's not played with Backstrom. I got into this. Like, I like Backstrom. He's not going to the Hall of Fame.
You're probably right, actually. I thought he's
not. There's nobody on the Capitals that played with Alexander Ovechkin. You could make an argument.
Maybe Carlson.
Carlson could, but he's been in the Norris conversation. We'll see. If I think Carlson plays 5 or 6 more years and plays like the majority of those seasons, I would be on the door knocking. Hey, but he's not one of Norris. But I will say he's been in the statistical categories. I think he's a guy that could get in. He's won gold on the junior level, Stanley Cup. He was excellent for us. So we'll see. I say us, the Washington Capitals. So I think too, the other thing for me, Perlo, as we cover this, I care less about my own team and just want to hear the best stories. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Scarby in the chat is my wife. Soul searching gurus. We got to get our viewership.
Scar's your wife? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see this. If you look at the picture closely, that's us at MSG. So, because she's, and you know what? I haven't even been to a Verizon Center or whatever they call it now.
Did score again? No. Okay. No, they just scored one.
It went off Garland's butt. I don't blame Skinner.
Okay. Oh, wait a sec. I got a future that I normally don't put tons of money on futures.
Yeah.
But
Quinn Hughes, they did score. Quinn Hughes. Oh, they're just crediting the goal to Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, they're just saying who scored.
Yeah, okay. My bad.
Put a ton of money on futures, but I think it was FanDuel was giving Kuzmenko to get over 80 points at plus 135. I was all over that. He's going to get over.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's going to be
as long as he doesn't get
top left wing, isn't he?
Yeah, playing with Peterson, he's so underrated.
No, Elias.
I think Vancouver's really like. I really like this team. If Talkett can get their defense playing decent, like I didn't mind Soucy pickup. I don't think they have a really good defense now, but it's better than last year. And if they get a full year of Demko, I mean, I don't mind that team.
Yeah, I know a healthy Thatcher Demko is going to be.
Their goaltending was bad, man. We miss you, Rico. Yeah, is he in the chat, Rico?
No,
I hope he gets his computer. Well, he'll get his computer back.
We'll figure it out. I'm not too stressed, man. I just want you guys when you can come. It's appreciative. We're not making any money off this, but it is fun to watch sports. I like talking hockey with my friends, and I get to be online. It just so happens I have two friends that I don't live next door to. They live away. We have every area of the country. I'm as far west, if you don't count Hawaii. Okay, probably why Hawaii has never had a hockey team, because even the West Coast games come on early there. So
yeah, I think Hawaii would be hard pressed to get a hockey team.
I believe Hawaii is 4 hours different from Mountain Time. So right now, for your time, it's 8 there, 8:20. It would be 4:30 there. So.
Exactly. So how are you going to watch a game?
So Soul Search has a question. We talked about this last time, Soul Search. I thought it would be Chris D'Elia, but Perlo said, who'd you say would be the backup for them?
Well, I like that young guy they have. What's his name? I can't believe it.
I'll pull up Cap Friendly. Well, because we were looking at the
Cap Friendly is the bomb.
Well, I was going to say, I probably should type it.
I like that young guy they have.
Sivlovs. He says Sivlovs.
Yeah, but it's probably going to be the Smith right now, right? They got DeSmith.
Yeah, I think Rick Tocchet brought DeSmith in so they could play because honestly, if they have a guy they like, because Demko could be on the way out too, and he's got like 1 or 2 years left on that deal. So they could look at
Seeloffs could take it away from DeSmith, but he's got to take it away. I think it's
well, but I think Tocchet was familiar with DeSmith too because of his time in Pittsburgh, because I think DeSmith's been there quite a while.
Good.
In fact, so I really think that was a move made in Delia moved on. Okay. Yeah, I knew.
Delia moved on, did he? Well,
yeah, that's what Soul Search is saying.
I'm sure he did, but where did he go?
I'm gonna look at their roster right now. On ESPN.
Where did he go? Soul Search, Delia.
If you know where he went, shout it out. Soul Searching Gurus. So this is who they have. They have Casey DeSmith, then Thatcher Demko, Spencer Martin, Zach Shawchenko, who's 25, and then Artur Sivlovs, who's 22. So I just think, because DeSmith is 32. Like, he's not a young guy. So, like, I for sure he was there when Tocchet was there. I think there's some familiarity.
Did he win a cup with Pittsburgh? I don't think so.
Yeah, he was 2 cups. He was on both those teams.
He was a backup.
He won, actually, he won a cup as a player and 2 cups as a coach with them.
Who?
Tocchet.
No, I'm saying DeSmith.
Oh, yeah, I think he might have been on. I think he might have been on one of those.
Backup or
well, but it was so. Remember, they had Fleury though. They had Marc-Andre Fleury and Matt Murray. Is that
Matt Murray? So he would have been the 3rd goaltender.
Yeah, but he might have been on the roster. Been like, I'm sure those guys. Yeah. I mean, both those guys have had injury problems. So, yeah. What about this guy Jet Wu? What can you tell me about him?
He's not living up to expectations. That's for sure.
Okay. He's a Winnipeg boy.
The Jets?
Yeah, he's a second round.
Vancouver?
He plays for Vancouver, yeah.
Vancouver.
I don't know if he's played a game.
No.
I didn't know Ethan Bear. I didn't know Ethan Bear was back with Vancouver.
If I remember correctly, he played in the ECHL.
So what's up with Ethan Bear? What are your thoughts on him?
Is he back with Vancouver again?
Yeah.
My gosh. With how much time I spend paying attention to hockey, how do I not know that?
Yeah, I was just curious. Yeah, I missed that one too, Pearlo. Don't feel bad. I knew he was with Carolina, and he's got it's almost like he's just been. Because I thought, dude, I was kind of surprised Edmonton moved on from him. I kind of thought, wow, this kid, he's indigenous. I think it's very important in Edmonton, that whole population and stuff. I'm sure a lot of the fans are from those areas, watch the Oilers, diehard, dedicated. I was like, wow, this guy could be like a poster child for that. If he, and I didn't think he was going to be like a Hall of Fame defenseman or even maybe a top pairing guy, but I thought, shoot, top 4 for sure. I had high hopes for him. And it just feels like, you feel like they bailed on that a little early or something. I mean, dude, he's only 26, by the way. Yeah. We're talking like he's a baby.
Okay, being from Edmonton, and I don't take anything I'm about to say as fact.
Okay. This
is just what I saw, what I read, and stuff like that. So it's basically rumors. That's what I can tell you. Is I mean, he's native and he definitely supports his native community, but it's almost to the point where you would say maybe too over the top. He gets easily offended. And
do you think that's why he's moved locker rooms a couple of times?
Yeah. Like it's a little over, like, okay, we get it, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I totally support a lot of the things he's talking about, but you can go, anybody that, even if it's a good thing, you can go over the top, right? Where it almost takes over what you're trying to do out otherwise. Like it almost takes over the team. You know what I mean? And so I could be wrong about that.
Balance. Work-life charity balance or whatever. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Carolina and things didn't work out there. And analytically, the guy should be playing top 4. Everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I just felt like I had pretty high hopes for him. I mean, I'm not saying he's underperformed. I wonder has he really gotten a real shot? But it does feel like, Edmonton felt like they had given him one and they moved on from him. So I just remember talking to Oilers fans, 4 or 5 years ago. I don't think they would have entertained trading him.
But I think Ethan Bear is injured right now too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, no worries. Hey, real quick, somebody on Vancouver I wanted to talk about too, since we're talking about that, and I want to get back to the game and see what's going on. Is Atu Ratti. He was part of that trade. And I remember at one point he was like touted as like a number 1 overall pick. He
was going to be like top 5 at least.
Yeah. So, and I know he kind of fell in the draft, and some, a lot of times there's good reason for that. We're finding out, right? I mean, I don't know about Montreal drafted Slafkovsky over Shane Wright. We're going to see the story book on that is those guys haven't really played in the NHL. And I mean, if it was me, I wouldn't have Slafkovsky playing in the NHL this year. Anyway.
I would have taken Cooley over both of them. to tell you the honest truth.
Well, that might have been the player, right? And he looks the part too, right? Did you see his move in Australia? Or did you see that goal? Oh my
that was
God,
pretty
dude.
sick. It's preseason, so it's a little easier to do that move.
I'm telling you, man, I think it was a big coup because, okay, I don't know if you saw Cooley's dad made a stink on the internet. Then they said they got hacked. So, oh no, here's what Soul Search has. On July 1st, Delia left the Cucks and signed a 1-year contract with the Winnipeg Jets. Okay.
Oh, the Jets.
All right.
Okay, so he's
the Rico banner up there. We miss you,
he's
Rico.
He's their third stringer now, right? Because
also, real quick, just to give a shout out to Pearlo, since we're kind of in the mix. I'm on replays. Where you give us an update on that Calgary Winnipeg game, but you could check out Pearlo's picks at ppalpicks.com.
It's a commercial right now. I had it on the Oilers game.
Yeah, I've got Oilers on. Sutter, right? Is that Brandon Sutter?
Brandon Sutter is giving her a go after having complications.
Wow, boy, he could be a gritty fourth line guy that Edmonton if he could play, if he found his game or he gets
it'd be a great story too, right?
Dude, I'm kind of rooting for that guy because he kind of got a raw deal in Vancouver and stuff too. So I know he had some injury problems and it sounded like they mishandled some of that.
No, I agree.
By the way, I have to produce this show by myself, so I so appreciate you guys, the listeners, looking stuff up for us. It's so helpful. We can continue the conversation, and at some point, we'll bring people on. I want to have callers. If you guys want to chime in, I'll drop the link. We want to have a full interactive hockey show while real hockey's going on. Now, obviously, we'll have watched some of the games throughout the day, and we'll be talking about the Eastern Conference games as these West ones are winding down. So I'm going to try to do that like 2 hours a night. So we'll see. We'll just see how it goes. I don't want to wear myself out or burn out. I'm not being paid for it, but I want to provide a service. But also, I want to see some of my friends that are streamers, Hot Take Hockey. I watch other people's shows, so I can't do that if I'm streaming. So depending on the night of the level of hockey, there are nights there's 1 or 2 or none games. We won't have shows, obviously, every night. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But again, Sol, thank you so much for looking that up. That was awesome. And I just want to tell you, I appreciate it because I got to push all the buttons on the backside here and get people in and drop things and so it's kind of bad if I'm just sitting here doing all this. That's why it's great when we have Rico, because I can let Pearlo and him just talk and I can do a little bit of the producing, but not to get off into the weeds of it. It is a little difficult to produce.
Calgary and Winnipeg. Calgary's out shooting them like usual, 2-1, 29-15. 4 minutes left in the third.
So 2-1, Calgary's winning?
No, 2-2. It's tied.
Oh, 2-2.
Yeah.
2-2, and Calgary's 2-1. I'll tell you what, dude. That was a commonality last year, speaking of the Flames. I would look at their box scores, and they would outshoot teams like almost double, triple. Absolutely. And they were still losing. Still losing, but I worry about them because I don't know. It looks like they have the thing that if I'm a Flames fan, it looks like they have a lot of young talent in the system. It's not like they traded. It's not like they threw in the bank. They're not Pittsburgh where the Penguins, it's widely known.
Well, they don't. I would say they have a lot, but they do have some. Yeah.
No, I mean, they got some guys, dude, that Connor Zary, it looks like this, hopefully this kid,
Coronado?
No, the kid that just got hurt that's been playing.
Peltier.
Yeah, Jacob Peltier. He looks like a player. Didn't he have a hat trick or something the other day? I don't know.
He's a pretty good player. They got a lot of small prospects, though. I don't know what they're going to do with all these small guys. They got Dubé, they got Peltier, they got Coronado, they're all small. Well, what did somebody say, Soul Surge?
Soul is saying that, and I thought I knew
off the wall hockey, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when Hot Take Hockey went away, I ride or die with John Duncan. I'm a big fan of him. I think he's an excellent play-by-play guy. I think he should be doing the Bruins broadcast, to be honest with you. because he's so knowledgeable. And you know what? He doesn't kiss their ass. He's a really honest hockey fan.
Yeah.
He's a diehard Bruins fan, but when they play poorly, he calls it out. Like, I just really like, I hope John Duncan sees this at some point. He is such a class guy. And I mean, honestly, I so enjoy, like, and I love Hot Take Hockey. He's great. But John Viveros tries to interact with the chat a lot more. That's where he's at. That's kind of where it's at. And I appreciate that. I mean, John Duncan of Off the Wall Hockey, he's play-by-playing the game for the most. He tries to interact, but he really is a good play-by-play guy. And he played, and he knows the players, and he's really good with vernacular. Anyway, I hate Jack Edwards so much. I'd love to see him do it for real.
Yeah, he's right.
And I think if you ask a lot of people from that area, they're not big Jack Edwards fans.
Look him up. I think, oh, geez, I wish I could remember. I think it's within the rink or something like that. He's a writer now. He does a lot of great writing, a lot of great articles.
Off the Wall Hockey is?
Yeah, John. Yeah, he's really good. He's a really good writer.
Yeah, and I know he was doing
he's
some other stuff.
He's making a living at it now. So that's kind of why he's kind of, you're not making
I'll tell you, man, like, one, you put yourself out there. People say all kinds of horrible stuff to you.
Oh, yeah. That's the other thing. I think, you got to be very confident in yourself to.
Yeah. I just don't read any of the comments. If you want to get,
I'm not bothered by them.
DM me on socials and I'll answer questions.
Do you want to hear some? Okay. If you want to hear some of the worst stuff you're going to hear about yourself, be a professional handicapper, dude. You lose somebody $4,000 or $5,000 in one night and see what they got to say.
Oh yeah, dude. I can't imagine that's not stressful. I can't imagine it's not stressful.
It's not. Bro. I don't stress about it anymore because I'm really good at what I do. So
dude.
If you can't manage your bankroll, then whatever. It's not my.
Bro, if you're winning 75% of the time because you're doing the research and there's ways to make money doing this. People have been doing it forever. So I had a buddy in the Army who was like an idiot savant. He was a Southern guy. His dad was a preacher. But he was like a math genius. And he basically became what you are for himself, and bet college football and would win. He'd make money he could live off, 3,000-4,000. I don't know if he continued to do that, but I'll tell you what, man, like he was talking about a computer program, like, before really that stuff was the norm. Like, this is like 90s.
Oh, so he's like a super genius, dude.
I'm just saying, like, he was ahead of the game. I mean, I hope he's a millionaire now. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what became of him. He didn't come to we had a reunion, like a 25-year reunion, which was cool.
I have two clients that started out at $50 a unit. And, they had a job, like good jobs. They were well off, but not like, they were doing okay.
Yeah.
One of them quit their job 3 years ago, and the other one quit their job this year, and they make their living on my bets.
Yeah. No, I mean, once you get that thing and you can make your money work for you that way, like, but you got to start small, and you never gamble more.
You got to build it up smart, and you got to have
you just can't take a lot of, like, I do the fun stuff on Underdog. Like, I put $10 if I hit a 5-leg parlay with $250. If I lose $10.
So
but I love shit like that, especially with hockey. Over under shots, man. I was killing it with that.
Oh yeah, you were good at the over under shots.
Well, I was doing parlays, right? So
okay.
I'm trying to get that plus.
What bookie were you using for that?
Plus 10,000, plus 859.
What bookie were you using for that?
What? I mean, you don't hit on them as much, but when you do, it's like, woohoo! Look what I did.
What bookie were you using for that? Like what?
Oh, I'm not. It's called Underdog. It's an app in the U.S.
Oh yeah, you were telling me.
Yeah. It's like a fantasy app, but you can bet on, because they, and it's pretty. I'm sure if you try to do large sums of money or something, it would be not.
Okay, so should we start doing a little teasers, because I know we're going to be doing some shows where we
Yeah, I
Kind of.
want you to do what I want to give you your own gambling corner. Like just
No, not
we
about that. I'm talking about teasers. Should we start talking a little bit about who we think's going to make the playoffs, not make the playoffs, stuff like
did that
that?
already.
Yeah,
We
we
did
did a
that.
little bit. We did a little
We
bit.
did all of it. We went through every NHL team, man. The last
What you were saying, okay, like I remember you were like all over Ottawa, and I was kind of like, I don't know.
No, I wasn't all over Ottawa. No,
You weren't? No.
I mean they're there to me. I said I have a little bit of question about their defensive depth and their goaltending.
Yeah,
but I like Forsberg.
Salo got hurt tonight, by the way. I don't know.
Yeah, see, they brought Korpisalo, and I forgot about that. But like, that's a guy. They've looked good against the Leafs. They lost tonight, though, right?
Yeah,
Connor Timmins.
It's preseason, so you can't really.
Boy, Connor Timmins looked pretty good for the Leafs. I only saw clips because it was on the NHL Network.
Good, nice guy to bring up. What the hell do they have? Why do people have a problem with Connor Timmins? I mean, I
think he did. I think they're excited about him. I think that and honestly. He played when he played in the regular season. He looked good to me. I was like, why? I'm surprised he didn't get more
ice time, right? That's what I was saying. Like, why are you not playing Timmins more? He looks good.
I think that's going to be one of Dubas's trades. They look back on and go, yeah, maybe Dubas knew what he was doing because they got him for a ham sandwich from.
Well, I guess
Arizona. I don't know what Arizona was doing because they needed a right shot. He should have been playing up at the. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the coach. You know how it is. There's politics sometimes. You don't understand what's going on. The guy breaks away and he gets to. Because to be honest with you, I was reading about this kid and I was like, wow, he kind of has all the makings of a top four guy, and he's a right shot.
I think.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I as soon as they got him, and Viveros was really insightful on him and talked, if you go back and watch those hot take hockey videos where he was live or whatever, and he talked about when they got him. And then when he played, I just remember when he played last year, because I do see a lot of Leafs. I liked what I was hearing from his game. So I thought Vancouver scored a goal.
Jeez, I'm sweating a preseason game. I got Calgary at plus 160 here. It's in OT right now.
Oh.
They how do you not take Calgary at plus 160? Like, how do you not? I mean,
what's the score in that game? What's the score in that game?
2-2 in overtime.
Oh, 2-2 in overtime. Yeah.
Yeah.
Calgary's the home team?
No, they're on the road. Yeah.
Here, let me get my.
But Winnipeg is got most of the possession so
Sorry,
far.
folks. Oh,
and they got that Wolf. By the way, they got Wolf in net. That kid, man, I just keep on hearing more and more about that kid.
He's an American kid too, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he's an American kid. The U.S. has got some goaltending depth, man. Like
he won back-to-back goalie of the year in junior, and then back-to-back goalie of the year in the AHL. So, I mean,
yeah. Hey, let's just to turn back to the Ottawa thing. Like I said, I worry a little bit about their defensive depth. That they have Chychrun. Let's see how they look with him in the lineup.
Chychrun might be a little bit overrated, but we'll see now how he.
But I think Ottawa kind of needed a guy like him anyway. They just needed to shore up that D-core, and they got him really for not much, I think. But they're in kind of cap hell right now. They got to figure out what they're doing with Shane Pinto. And
I was going to ask you about that. I mean,
I think they're going to have to get rid of.
They got to. The whole thing is trading Joseph, and apparently Philadelphia is kind of grinding them, trying to get an extra.
Philadelphia has to rebuild, dude. But
they
got to hope Mishkov is the second coming of Ovechkin when they get him.
Well, what they're doing is they're trying to get Ottawa to give them a second pick and Joseph.
Because Ottawa has no choice. They're going to have to. So what everybody thinks Ottawa will do is that they will just put Kubalik on waivers. Kubalik was a part of that. The trade for DeBrincat. Again, I'll tell Ottawa fans, I think, and I like DeBrincat, but I think that he did not fit that team. They need a big winger, another big winger to go along with Matt Tkachuk, 1A, 1B on that left, right wing, whatever. And then just shore up the D. And then I like Forsberg for them in goal. I thought that's why they should not have traded. What?
You're one of the few people who agree with me about that.
Mike McKenna got me on him, man. He helped me win 2 years ago. He helped me win my fantasy championship. I had him, and he was sneaky good, man. And his save percentage was really good. And man, I'll tell you what, if you get a chance, Mike McKenna does breakdowns there a lot of times on the Daily Faceoff show. Because I'm going to promote shows I watch and love. Spit and Chicklets, Missing Curfew. I'm on those. I listen to those shows. I'm keeping my finger, on the pulse of the hockey zeitgeist. I can't be not paying attention to all the popular things, and I like them because I love the sport and I love the people in the sport. But that being said, I don't know where I was going here.
I wanted to go back on DeBrincat there.
I just think it was a good move for them. For Ottawa, they're because look at they're bottled up right now with all this young talent they have that they can't afford to pay because they're at the cap, and they don't really have a bad deal on that team. Now they brought in Tarasenko, that hurts them with 1 year, $5 million. Prove it. That's good. I mean, I think he's gonna have I think he thought in his head that he was a top 10 NHLer, and you could make an argument he was for a long time. I just think that he feels slighted, and he's young enough to kind of come back, though, Pearlo, and kind of have a revitalization. Sometimes guys need that kick in the pants. You know what I'm saying? You get lazy and complacent.
He was not good the last 2 years at all. He was really
I thought he looked pretty good with the Rangers because the first couple of games he looked like he did with the Blues. And then they got Patrick Kane, and I think they didn't need him. I thought that was kind of a stupid move.
I agree.
I didn't like that by the Rangers. I didn't think they needed Kane. In fact, if you wanted, if anything, if you got Kane, you'd want him healthy, which he wasn't. But him and Panarin are basically the same type of. I know they work together in Chicago. Anyway, I didn't like the dynamic for the New York Rangers. I told my wife I thought it was a mistake, and I was not wrong. They got beat by the Devils, and I don't think the Devils were ready to beat a team. I think they were young enough and naive enough, and it looked like at the first two games because the Rangers beat them both games there and went up 2-0 and then lost the series in 7. So, but it's like the Rangers had the better goalie. It wasn't even close. I mean, I liked Kira Schmid. You were on that too, Pearlo. Like the first person to be like, Kira Schmid is the guy. You were all over Vanacek. And I think just go 41 and 41 now. If you got two guys that you don't know, just give them equal time. You guys are going to play 41 games every other game, or however you want to work it. 2 games on, 2 games off, whatever. I think if you have 2 solid goalies, you're going to win enough games to make the playoffs. And then by then you've had a great assessment. They both played equal or close to the same number of games. And you go, this guy was just better for us, whether it was Schmid or Vanacek. Because I'll be honest with you, they ultimately went back to Vanacek after Schmid kind of screwed up.
Well, Schmid's just a kid, right? I like his skill level. I like honestly, his skill level more, but he's got a lot
to have to play. Didn't they have to play Carolina in the second round?
Yeah. So, I like his skill. I think Schmid's going to be the better goaltender long term by quite a bit.
But I'm not ready to bail on Vanacek either.
I think when he's at his top game, Schmid is a better goaltender than Vanacek. But, man, being a 22-year-old goaltender in the NHL, it's – Look at guys like Spencer Knight, man. They had to go on, he kind of went on sabbatical.
I think he's going to be a starter for them, though. I do. I think this time away from hockey is only prolonging his career because he's not playing, he's not getting hurt, he's not getting banged up, he's getting his mind right. And I think, to be honest with you, I think that sport, that position, goaltender, is the one where I think mentality, it's like 90% because they're all athletic and bendy and stuff.
Absolutely.
I think it's just like Patrick Waugh willed himself to stop the puck. Like it was an attitude thing. You could feel
Patrick
it
Waugh
from
was just so confident in himself, like nobody
yeah,
could even
exactly. Yeah, and I just think you could tell Belfour had that like weird
Yeah,
kookiness
Belfour
about
too
him.
is a good
You
example.
know, Luongo, a little more chummy, different, little more extrovert, but still like emotional French Canadian goalie.
Yeah,
I think a lot of those French Canadian guys, Brodeur too. I think they were all really emotional. Brodeur, pretty powerful. We're finding out how powerful he was or is in the NHL, getting rules changed. Like the fact that you couldn't wear mirrored visors, I just think is a joke. And he should. I mean, like Sean Avery thing. No one else was ever going to do that because Sean Avery had a stick in the air. It was the dumbest shit ever. But Sean Avery knew he was getting in his head. And he wasn't trying to beat him with the net. He was trying to beat him by the brain. He knew it was mental warfare. That's why Sean Avery doesn't give the credit he deserves. One, he was a very good offensive player. But two, he was such a mental assassin. He would find weakness and go after it. He knew shit about guys on the teams. I know what he was chirping Brodeur about. A lot of people know. It's common. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get in trouble. But it's like, a lot of people know. Like, it's common knowledge. So, yeah, Dominic Hasek, though, was an athlete, though. You can't make that argument, Soul Search. We're just saying, like, I just think he also had the mentality, you're not going to beat me. I mean, he was the best. I don't think it's even close. I think he's the best goalie of all time. And if somebody asks me who the second best is, I say Vladislav Tretiak. And then if you want to talk NHL, but I'm telling you, Hasek is the greatest goalie of all time.
No doubt about it.
I think Henrik Lundqvist is in the conversation, like top 5 of all time. Just so good. So yeah, he didn't win a cup, but he won a gold medal.
Yeah, I don't care. He brought Rangers teams to the finals that had no business being.
I mean, I feel like that's a hot take I heard.
Calgary wins in a shootout.
Okay, Calgary won in a shootout. Thanks. And the Edmonton game's still on, so I'll give you guys. I don't have an update.
I also got Vegas to win tonight against LA.
They're winning 2-0 the last I checked.
Yeah, because LA's got like no lineup in there.
So just to go through the scores, Golden Knights are up 2-0 on the Kings. The Ducks and Sharks are playing. That's 2-1 after first. Lightning beat the Predators in overtime.
Who's winning the Ducks and
Canadian? Hold on. 2-1. The Ducks are winning. Senators and Canadians was 4-3 win by the Canadians. They're a team we haven't spent a lot of time talking about. They're getting there. I worry that they're going to be good enough to be like a borderline playoff team, and they might squeeze in depending on how. And I don't think they're ready. But they could be an upstart team.
They play with a lot of heart.
But they didn't have Caulfield again for a lot of the year last year, and he's so important to them. He's such a big-time goal scorer. So another American kid, too. Leafs won 5-2 over the Sabres, and the Islanders beat the Flyers. The Islanders are another one, man. Are they going to be a playoff team?
No.
So some controversy. Biz said, my Caps making the playoffs, said the Rangers weren't. He's not a believer in the Rangers. He thinks Shesterkin's been overplayed, and they're going to be – but we'll see. Now, Laviolette, I think this is his last stop, right? He coached – huh?
I mean, the Biz thinks the Rangers aren't going to make it. Is that what he said?
Yeah, he said
I would not be surprised if the Rangers missed. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm
telling you, I've had that feeling too, Carlo. I just feel like their big-time stars were so – terrible in the my wife's booing me in the other room. That's surreal, man. No, I just like Zibanejad was invisible in the playoffs. Panarin, nothing. Kreider was like the only guy like doing anything for them, and he was Go ahead.
Doesn't it seem like the Laviolette hiring is like sort of like a desperation to get a coach to get these
think
guys?
He was going to do really well with Fox and them. I don't know. This is his last stop, right? He doesn't need to get. I know he's won. I think if you win the cup, This is like the Babcock thing. Like he has a cup. So everybody's like, oh, who has won a cup? Barry Trotz. Oh, he's running Nashville now. We can't hire him. Joel Quenneville has 3 cups, but they, everybody's all touch and go now, especially with this Babcock thing. I think Quenneville's chances of getting a job went out the window with this Babcock thing. And it's not even that no one's ever said anything inflammatory about Quenneville. I like Quenneville. I do think he deserves a second chance, even though, by the way, I don't even
think he did much of anything, to tell you.
Did he coach at St. Louis for a very long time? Yes. Then he coached. Was he at Colorado for a minute?
Quenneville?
Yeah. I know he played for the Colorado Rockies, but I was trying to.
No, I don't think he was coached Colorado.
Okay.
He went St. Louis, Chicago, and Florida.
Did he go from St. Louis to Chicago? Okay. And so he coached Chicago, and then he was with Florida when all that stuff broke, and he resigned. And I thought it was a little unfair to him, honestly, but it was like
totally.
And I think he's a heck of a coach. By the way, I met the man once, very ironically. Yeah, I'll tell you the story. So my then girlfriend bought me tickets to a NHL preseason game that was going to be played here in Anchorage at the Sullivan Arena. It was between the Sharks and the St. Louis Blues. And it was September 12th with a game, 2001.
My birthday.
And 9/11 happened and the Sharks couldn't make it and the Blues were already here. So they canceled the thing, but then they let people come watch the game because they're like, hey, so the Blues inter squad matched and played each other. And I saw maybe one of the biggest fights I've ever seen in a hockey game between 2 guys on the same team. This Anthony Walker or something versus Mike Keene. And that was like just a bloody mess. And then Dougie Waite went after the kid. It was crazy. So yeah, because they had Waite, Kachuk, Pronger, and McInnes. Like they were, yeah. I mean, Pronger was massive on the ice. Okay, so anyway, that after the game, some of the players came out. None of the big time ones. Tyson Nash, if I ever see Tyson, I saw him at a restaurant in Scottsdale and I should have talked to him. I was like, I think it's Tyson Nash because I wanted to tell him how much I appreciate it. I didn't get an autograph from him, but it was really cool that he came out. Well, Quenneville came out and I talked with him and I was like, I have your Colorado Rockies card. And at the time I had some cards. And he was really cool about it. He talked a little bit. It was sweet. And he's a super nice guy. Just like, like when I met John Cooper, it's like, I get it. So did Edmonton tie it up? Edmonton tied it up 1-1, and they are on the power play. McJesus, he doesn't look as fat. I just think people are starting to get used to what he's doing with the puck. And again, I just, when his speed starts to go, I wonder what his game is going to look like.
Who's that?
McDavid, because
no, he's.
You think his game is going to? He's not going to be scoring 153 points, but
his speed is not going to drop enough to. I mean, as long as he stays healthy, that guy's a 100-point player for the next 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think so.
Wow. I hope we're still doing this show, and you and I have this conversation.
15 years from
remember on September 27th, 2023, you said McDavid was going to have 50. Because, dude, we may know that in 5 or 6 years. Look, I'm not being critical. I'm asking a legit question.
Mm-hmm.
What is his game going to look like when he can't outskate everybody on the ice?
I don't think that's going to happen for a very, very, very long time. Very long time.
Yeah, no,
I get your point.
I mean, dude, also he's got I notice his super lanky legs, long and lanky, which I think really helps him with his skating because he's, I think that you would see a guy, I think years ago, he probably wouldn't have been schooled right, how his body was growing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you look, a lot of these guys, they're just freakish. Like Michael Phelps had notorious long torso, long, like super long arms, and just That's why he was like the
but
world
I do
record.
get your point. His game is predicated a lot on speed.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
unlike this Bedard kid, that's coming up now, he's a guy that he can play with just about anybody. You know what I mean?
You know what I think? You know what I think, Pearlo?
McDavid's speed only allows him to play with certain people. And if he loses it, how much is he going to be able to adapt to be able to play? Like, I get your point. I do get your point.
Yeah, I just am curious. And, you also have to have guys that can skate with you. So, like, I mean, he needs to have fast wingers. So I'm just going to say this on the record. I believe that next year Alex Ovechkin's going to pass Wayne Gretzky's goal record at some point in time. Okay. I believe that Connor Bedard is going to give Ovechkin a run because hopefully Connor Bedard stays healthy and scores a shit ton of goals, and we never have any labor stoppage, because that's what killed Ovechkin. I mean, Ovechkin had already broken Gretzky's record. He had 50 his rookie year. He had 40 more times than anybody in the history of the NHL. He had 41 or 43 last year. He had over 40. He slowed down at the end. That's why somebody was asking me over under on him 40.1, and I was like, man, I think that's right around where he's going to be.
Somewhere around that.
Yeah, I think he's going to score around 4. I think he's going to try to
seen a shot like this kid since Mike Bossy.
Yeah, I'm really excited, man.
I love Matthews. I think he's got an amazing shot. I love the guy.
Yeah. It's deceptive, right?
Mike Bossy was the best shooter I ever saw.
But, dude, here's another thing. Bedard is a perfect example. We're talking about McDavid kind of just being freakishly long and stuff. Bedard broke his, arm or something, learned how to shoot differently, right? And now he's got this wicked shot that nobody's ever had. So it's like the natural. He was born for it, man. I'm excited. Yeah. I'm really excited to see him play, man. Like, I was a little bummed out that the Blackhawks got him just because they had such a nice run. Their fan base was placated for another 20 or 30 years because they hadn't won in a long time, and they were getting in that New York Rangers territory.
Yeah, I would have rather
they went on a run, but like their fans can be good for 20 years, I think. But they're not a Stanley Cup team, but 5, 6, 7 years, we'll see where they're at. I mean, I think they're going to be getting some high picks and stuff. So
once you get a guy like Bedard, I mean, it certainly speeds up the process for sure, right? But I agree with you. I would have rather like San Jose or some.
Arizona's never got a number 1 overall pick. If anybody, could you imagine Bedard with Cooley? Clayton Keller. Right? They have a good Arizona is going to be a sneaky team.
Arizona is going to surprise the shit out of people.
I like their coach. I like their goaltending and Vejmelka.
Yeah. I love their coach. That guy is a genius, man. I love that guy.
So what was the sports news that consumed everything in Canada last week? Was there anything? Because I'll tell you what ours was. It was football related, sort of.
Okay. Well, tell me. I
want to know, what was the sports news in Canada that everybody
sports news in Canada?
Well, just whatever. Yeah, but the main sports thing that was like dominating that. I'm sure in Edmonton
it would have been something to do. It's all about the Blue Jays here right now. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was basically Guerrero coming back into form and. That kind of stuff.
Are they going to make the playoffs? Are they going to make the playoffs? I haven't been following.
Yeah. It seems like it. Yeah.
Okay. All right, man. What? It's like the Blue Jays are Canada's team. Because especially now they don't have the Expos, which that would be cool if they brought them back.
Yeah.
Capacity. But Canada by and large roots for the Blue Jays. You could tell, and it's pretty universal. I think that I think there are a lot of Vancouverites and stuff that root for the Mariners because they're there and it's right there. And I totally get it. I've been to a lot of Mariners games and there's a lot of Canadians that have come down for it. That's great, man. Honestly, the Mariners have never won. I hope they do win. They were in the mix too. I'd love to see Houston miss. But so you guys have been talking Blue Jays. Yeah. The story of the century in the U.S. is that Taylor Swift went to a Chiefs game for her
right. Yes,
baby boyfriend Travis Kelce. So that just
Kelce.
dominated the airwaves
Kelce.
here.
Yeah.
And I like Kelce, man. I'm a fan of his New Heights podcast with his brother. As a New York Giants fan, I wish we had Jason Kelce. I love that guy. He's probably one of my favorite players of all time. And now you just get to see this guy's personality even more. And I'm basically becoming a closeted Eagles fan, which is sacrilege as a New York Giants fan, diehard New York Giants fan. But I just don't hate them. I like them. There's just it's not the old Eagles. It's just weird, man. It's so crazy.
Doesn't it?
And they're dominating us again. So
I
pretty much take more joy in the Cowboys losing than I do the Giants winning anyway. So
it just seems like a weird combination to me.
I think she's probably dated a lot of artsy fartsy beta guys, and now she's got maybe like an alpha.
She wants to,
I don't want to say like a real man, but like I'm just saying like a guy that's a guy's guy. I don't think she's dated a guy's guy ever. I think she's dated a lot of these artsy guys are a little. I think Travis is just a no bullshit, straight shooting guy. So
definitely,
So let me look at the leagues here. It looks like, the Orioles have clinched. They clinched the American League. Wow. Oh, they have not clinched the American League. They've clinched the playoff spot.
I love that Orioles team, by the way.
Twins clinched. You don't hear nothing about the Twins. They clinched. Rangers are at the top of their division.
The Orioles team is like meat and potatoes. Everybody pinching. Like your Seattle Kraken. Like your Seattle Kraken. Everybody pinch in. No real superstars. I like that team a lot.
I lost
you.
What do you think you do? What do you think they do?
What do I think what does?
The team does.
Orioles?
Yeah.
In the playoffs, I don't know.
Where do you give us a little baseball insight? You've been following it and winning.
I have been, but I'm not. I'm not an MLB aficionado. I don't put in my own picks. I got a guy.
You don't have any. Who do you think's World Series champion?
I just love those meat and potato type teams, regardless of where they come from, right? So I'm rooting for them. Oh,
by the way, two-man rest in peace, Brooks Robinson just died. Hall of Fame third baseman that played for the Orioles. It was just like that they had Brooks Robinson won World Series in the 60s and 70s, I believe, and they had Jim Palmer and all that. And then they had Cal Ripken forever, who was just like one of the great. It was one of my favorites. I've always liked the O's, man. Like I'm a big fan of them. I would love to see them win. Everybody feels like it's the Braves year because they look pretty good, man. I just saw Acuna stole his 70th base. So he's hit 40 home runs and 70 bases. Nobody's ever done that in Major League history. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Good for him. That guy's a heck of a player, man. I like I'm a Dodgers fan. I would love to see the Dodgers win, but honestly, I think the Dodgers have won 7 World Series. They've done a couple in my lifetime, and one of them was the greatest ever in 1988 with Kirk Gibson's home run. So I just kind of feel like I don't care if they win. Like people get all bent out of shape about this stuff, but I'm like, meh, they're in the mix every year. That's all you can ask as a fan, and it's just fun and enjoyable. And honestly, since Vin Scully died, it's been like, Flames just beat the Jets 3-2 in a shootout, Jared said.
That was earlier. Yeah, I had the Flames at plus 160 there.
So you won some money.
I won a little scratch. My clients made some money.
Not too shabby. Yeah, so this Edmonton Vancouver is 1-1-11-14. We're kind of watching it and BSing.
I got Vancouver to win this one too.
We got some people in the chat. If you guys if anybody wants to come on and ask some questions or just BS about hockey, we'd love to have you on. Probably stay on another 20 minutes or so. We'll see. I'd like to finish this Vancouver Edmonton game at the very least. Let's see. I'll go through. There's a couple other games on. I'm not going to turn on or check. Ducks are winning 2-1 over the Sharks. That's like midway through the second.
I will see what I got on center ice if I have any more games on there.
Yeah, I think everything else is off. Oh, Gold Knights and Kings are on NHL Network. That's 2-0. That's about midway through the.
I'll
That's
put that one
15-21 left in the second there. Still 2-0.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. I think the Kings are a Stanley Cup team if they can get a goalie. I just don't know about. I love my boy Phoenix Copley though. I really do think he can. I think he could be a Bennington or something for them. I think he has the game. He can do it. He's just shown flashes of it throughout his career. He's never been able to. He was pretty good for them, Pearlo, in this stretch. He was really good for the Kings down the stretch there. And then they kind of went away from him in the playoffs, and I thought it was a mistake because they traded for Korpisalo. I think they just didn't trust Jonathan Quick, so they had to get him out. I
personally think LA is they play way too offensively to make it in the playoffs. They have to learn how to play
with Kopitar and Deneau on that team. What are you talking about? You forgot about who's on that team, bro.
Well, I know who's on that team, but the rest of the people.
And then they added Dubois. Love him or hate him, that guy's not bad defensively.
He's terrible defensively. They have two forwards that are good defensively. Besides that, it's just pure offense. Fiala, all of those guys.
Yeah. Fiala was banged up though. He's a pretty physical forward.
His offense makes up for his defense, but you can't have too many guys like that. And they have too many guys.
Well, do you think that's why they traded Velarde in them to get Dubois?
Yeah, but no, because Velarde and who they traded, they're both very good defensively, and they got Dubois, who is not. So. Yeah. I mean, I personally think that they're trying to win playing way too offensively with poor goaltending. Vegas got away with goaltending is not important if you play like Vegas or Tampa.
Yeah, I was going to tell you,
man. If you play like LA, you better have a Hellebuyck back.
I kind of think the book has been written on how to slow Edmonton's power play down by how Vegas played them. And I saw a little bit of that from Vancouver because they have killed all these penalties that Edmonton. And look, I told you, they had a record-setting power play. Weren't they like 40, almost 40%? I mean, that's ridiculous. But you just know that's not going to always – it's not going to go that way in the playoffs. Like, you might get more penalties than the other team. But honestly, I don't know about you. I like when they don't call it. Just let them play.
Yeah.
True,
but exactly. So if you don't have a strong 5-on-5 game, you're screwed.
That's what I'm saying, and that's where I thought Edmonton lacked, and that's where, and just from what I had saw from Vegas, they were great everywhere. They were good PK. Stevenson's a great PK guy. They just have such good. They just seem like they had a really good balance. And you could say, the goaltending, but Logan.
Thompson.
The goalie they had starting most of the year.
Oh, Hill. Thompson or Hill?
Logan
Thompson.
Logan Thompson. Thank you very much. Yeah, he was good for them, and then he got hurt. Then they had the other Aiden Hill. Then he got hurt, and then they brought in. And he did good. They just played so good defensively, and you know what, man? They kept Barbashev. They're going to be. But the way Eichel played McDavid, I saw him take the puck off his stick a bunch of times. I was like, yeah, McDavid's fast, but you know what? Eichel ain't slow. And then, and I think Eichel's a better defensive player than McDavid. And it showed. I thought he owned him on the faceoffs, and he took the puck off. And the playoffs, I thought the way Jack Eichel played defensively on McDavid was 1,000,000% why they won that series. And if you go back and watch it, I think a lot of people would not disagree. And I was an advocate. I thought he should have won. I'm sorry, no offense to Jonathan Marsh's show. I thought Eichel was the Conn Smythe. I just thought his two-way. What?
I totally agree with you. Totally.
Yeah, what I saw from him, and this is all I'm saying to make it long and the short. I still think Vegas is the Cup favorite. Until they prove it to me otherwise, I'm not saying it. I think Edmonton's there, man. I mean, I really do. I think the Lindholm addition has solidified them. They don't have to play Darnell. They're paying him top pair money, but he should not be in their top pair. Everybody knows it. And I think you can have Lindholm, Ekholm. I just think the thing about him is it's health, right? He has not stayed healthy. So I think that Bouchard, some of those guys are going to step up. The Broberg, they got to see what they have there. They need to see or trade it to get, something that they do need now,
Just before you go on, so I don't mean to interrupt, but
no, you're fine.
There's some pretty good scrappage going on in this Vegas LA game, man.
I'm glad you can watch it because I can't see it. I'm telling you, I think LA is if they get the goaltending from Copley that they got last year for the 20 game stretch that he came.
Well, they're certainly not getting it from Talbot. I would take it from.
Well, see, that's the thing, but Talbot wasn't. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't great with Minnesota, really, was he? They could let him walk.
But there's like a brawl going on in the Vegas LA game. Like for a preseason game, man, this is some pretty.
So I would be worried about Vegas if you didn't have a bunch of already previous Cup winners, because I don't think they're going to have a Cup hangover because I think Petro's been there, right? And then they have a handful of other guys. Chandler Stevenson was with the Caps and stuff. So I think that a couple of those guys have won too. I think they're all just going to say, "Hey guys," because I've saw them play Colorado. They look great. I mean, Colorado looked good too, but I mean they weren't playing a ton of guys. I just think that Vegas is not going to drop off at all. I really think they're going to be.
No, I agree. They've got some brilliant minds. They've got some brilliant minds in that organization, and it took me way too long to figure this out. This owner pays their office staff like top dollar. He found this. What's his name? Sean Burke. The guy's a freaking goalie whisperer. Every time they get a goalie, he turns him into a freaking.
Thanks for being with.
Yeah, every time he gets a goaltender, like he found the best of the best. And
I mean, Aiden Hill, they kept him like, dude, he played great. I mean, you know what I liked about his game? He just kept everything. He did not overplay anything. He just played really within himself. I thought he's a big guy, right? So those big goalies, man. Like Edmonton being the sharpshooters they were having a tough time beating him. I thought he framed up. Edmonton is always passing east and west and stuff too. I just thought, other than their defensive play that was so physical and good, and I thought that really helped too. But I really think, man, he kept his cool, and Edmonton couldn't get the save when they needed it from their goalies. I thought Skinner, and I thought they should have went to Campbell quicker. I actually thought Campbell played a little bit better in the playoffs. And I think Jack's got to be one of those guys where we talked about mentality. He's weak mentally, and it sucks.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that, but that's when he starts struggling. I love the guy. I'm a huge fan.
I love the way you don't mince words there. It's true. I mean, his whole career.
Yeah, I mean, he just needs but he's in the right mind frame. He's unbelievably good.
Yeah.
So
he had a couple stretches there in Toronto where he looked like a freaking Desmond.
Dude, he was supposed to be Jonathan Quick's replacement. Like we all thought, those of us that followed the Kings. I have a buddy here that's a close friend. That's Greg Howard. Shout out Greg Howard, who's a diehard Kings fan. And was lived in LA when they were winning their cups and stuff. And dude, when you live on the West Coast, you have to have a West team. Like I like the Caps. I root for the Flames. I'm kind of a Kraken fan. My whole family kind of lives in that area now. So I just I've always loved the Seattle teams. I've always rooted for them, even though that, just because they've always been lousy, So now I got the Kraken for sure. Of course I like the Calgary Edmonton matchups. Vancouver, their fan base is so diehard, they've never won. It wouldn't hurt my feelings. Same with the Sharks. I like the Cali teams, all of them. There's Arizona. I'm a huge fan. I try to get to their games a couple times a year and stuff. So, just good fun.
I am not a Vancouver. If there's one team, I'm an Oilers fan, and I like Calgary better than Vancouver. So that tells you something.
Yeah, I mean, the Battle of Alberta, I think, has just been such a great matchup. So I really hope the Flames find their way and they're a really competitive team, or at least they're in the mix for the wild card. And I want to see.
I think they're gonna make the playoffs fairly easily this year.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. I like I said, I'm coming around on them because I like what they have youth wise. I think they have a lot of NHL ready guys they can bring up if they lose Hannafin. Now it looks like they named back. We didn't talk. They named Backlund captain. What are your thoughts? I think it's a great move. I wonder what that means with Lindholm. But
2-year, $9 million contract, right? 4.5.
Yeah, they signed him to an extension, and he was one of the guys that was kind of saying he wanted out too. So that's cool. He's sticking around, and that's an honor, man, that they named him captain. Also, Braden Shen named captain of the St. Louis Blues. We didn't talk about that.
I'm not so much of a fan of that one.
Oh, I like that move for them. I think he's a pretty vocal guy in the locker room and stuff. Yeah. And you get a pretty solid 2-way game with him, man.
I probably just have some sort of bias that I don't like.
No, I think he's a guy you'd want on your team, man. Pretty good 2-way player. Yeah, I'm a Braden Shen fan. I think he's evolved his game too to be a lot better on the defensive side. And I think it's paid dividends for him offensively too. He's looked like better kind of as he's gotten a little bit older. I mean, he was on was he on the Kings Cup, or was he part of the Kings had him, right? Did he win a cup with the Kings? I know he won a cup with the he won a cup with St. Louis. He was on St. Louis's cup team. Yeah.
No, he went from the Flyers to the Blues. I don't think he went anywhere else. It was those two teams.
Well, he was a Kings prospect, I believe, and they traded him to the Flyers.
I really don't like that move. I think he's extremely overrated. Sorry, that's just my
no, you're okay. I wanted to hear your opinion on it.
Yeah, I think he's very overrated. I think ever since the Armstrong that went to Arizona left, that team has been making bad move after bad move after bad move. I think St. Louis is going to be a disaster this year, honestly.
Oh yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to see. So what have you bounced back years from Kyrou and Thomas and stuff?
No.
You don't.
I think it would be good for them to leave that organization.
I would have thought you were a Robert Thomas kind of guy. Like he was kind of.
I am, but I don't think he's in the right organization to succeed. I think that organization is just piss poor.
Oh, really? Right now?
I do. I think
big time down on the Blues.
Yeah,
so we still got one left.
I was one of the few people that had the Blues to miss the playoffs last year.
And they did. Ultimately, they did. Yeah. No. Yeah. Real quick, I'm just going to give an update to the people that are listening. If you aren't watching Vancouver, Edmonton, I'm watching ESPN Plus in the States. It's on Sportsnet Plus, Sportsnet 1, I think, regular Sportsnet in Canada, right? If you have Sportsnet. The Vancouver Edmonton game. Well, yours is probably on local TV, right? You can watch yours on.
Going 3 minutes left in the third now, right?
They show all your games on. Like you don't have to have cable, right, to see all the Edmonton games living there.
I have a center ice package, so I get all the games no matter what. But yeah, I could watch this on regular TV. Yeah.
And Edmonton's not blacked out for you?
No, we don't block out.
Oh my God.
There would be mutiny in the land.
I love that they don't black out.
No,
with this big win, Flames 3-1, and
the only province that blacks out, I think, is, I think in Winnipeg they black out Toronto games or something. My dad loses his mind. I mean, he's from.
Does he live out there? Does he live out in Winnipeg?
He lives in Manitoba, not Winnipeg, but yeah, he's a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, and he always he gets so mad. He talks to me and he gets so mad. And I'm like, well, that's just what happens when you're a Leafs fan. Those are the things that happen to you. That's what I tell him.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
I don't hate the Leafs, but I like to grind my dad.
I'm just going to say this. I think they're going to surprise people, dude. I think they're going to be way better than people think they are. I think the grit and toughness in that lineup is going to be what that skill needs to just calm down. They don't have to worry. I mean, nobody's going to F with Matthews or Marner this year. They're going to have to face Ryan Reeves. There's not one guy. Tom Wilson's fought him a few times. In my opinion, Tom won one of the fights. But Tom Wilson's a unicorn too. Tom Wilson's a guy that can fight Ryan Reeves and score 20 goals, 50 points a season.
Personally, I'm going to mess with him just to get Reeves on the ice. The more you can have Reeves on the ice.
No, I get that too. Like you don't want him skating 20 minutes a night or anything, but
yeah, but I get your point. No, but the thing about Reeves is one thing that I think like that Toronto was missing was a guy that could like just bring the like. It seemed like Toronto was missing that grr. You know what I mean?
The locker room too. I think he's going to be more impactful in the locker room.
Yeah,
than
it's
anything.
like having another coach and like.
Yeah,
but
a guy that's going to like rile everybody up and be like, get up for the game.
Yeah,
I think that Matthews and Marner are kind of reserved guys, and I just feel like they don't have that kind of fire.
I agree with that, and you can't.
I think Matthews too, man. I think a lot of him being Hispanic. I think a lot of people. Like, I wonder because he's mixed. I think he probably was kind of picked on when he was a kid or something. Maybe, so I think he just always made him kind of a quiet assassin.
I love the personality of Reeves. I love it.
I just think that's where I think he's going to be beneficial to them. He won't. No, but if he scores 6 goals,
whatever he does on the ice,
keeps his PIMs around 150, doesn't go up into that 200 range. He'll be such an asset for them, and he's not going to skate but like 6 minutes a night, you know.
Yeah, and
so I don't. And they have a pretty decent fourth line, and they don't even have to have him in the lineup every night. You know, they can rest guys.
You know, I'm an analytics guy. Okay, there isn't an analytics guy out there that would say that you want Reeves in your lineup, but I'm not. I'm also an old school guy.
Yeah,
and
there's
I know
impacts
that
on
if you,
analytics.
If you don't have guys like Reeves, you can't put numbers on what he does.
Yeah,
he agree. Just gets, like you said, he gets people riled up. He keeps people honest, you know, in the room and on the ice.
There's not going to be a lot of overhitting in a game he's on.
I think Toronto doesn't have. You need it. You need it. I really do think you need it.
They just waved off icing with 36 seconds left. It's 1-1 Vancouver Edmonton. We're just chilling. 22 shots to 28. Vancouver came back with a vengeance.
I need Vancouver to win this, and I go 3 for 3 tonight, which would put me 10-1.
3 for 3. I mean, dude, I'm rooting for Vancouver anyway, just because I root.
That would put me 8-1 in the 10-1 in the 10-1 in the preseason. I'm crushing the preseason.
That's pretty good, man. And preseason stuff because you don't know who they're gonna play. You know, like I can't believe you.
What I've been doing with
I'm not getting underdog does not give odds on preseason hockey games because I would be betting some stuff. But it looks like we're going to overtime in Edmonton, Vancouver. Casey DeSmith starting he still has his Penguins mask. Poor guy. I felt bad for him.
He still got his Penguins mask? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, he still has
he's getting his mask. He's still getting his mask done.
He still has his Pens gear. So he got traded to Montreal. Apparently his dad is a huge Montreal fan, and then Montreal moved him. And I think Montreal was trying to move him all along. I think that was part of the deal. They probably didn't clue him into that. I mean, sometimes I've been told like guys would be called, hey, look, we traded for you, but we're going to move you right away. This is where we're going to send you or whatever. A lot of times if they're doing that. So I'm wondering if they did just like clue him, hey, man.
I think they did. I think they did. Yeah, I think they let him know.
So, Nugent Hopkins was playing. Nugent Hopkins was out there. So Edmonton's playing. They're pretty much playing their team. That makes me a little nervous too if I'm an Oilers fan. Like, you don't have any young guys that you got. You didn't bring any PT. I think this is one thing I wanted to say about Kyle Dubas specifically. I heard he brought in a lot of guys on PTOs to kind of compete for positions that are kind of up in the air for the Penguins. And I just think that you start that competition early in the year, and I kind of love that thought process. I'm sort of a fan of that. And I do think Pittsburgh is going to be a playoff team for sure.
I'm on the fence.
I think just really with them, it's going to be if their goaltending holds up.
Yeah.
And they're the oldest team in the NHL, so their body's got to hold up. Carlson notoriously has not been healthy. Like I kept saying, like, look, I know the guy had a great, like, an unbelievable year, first defenseman to be over 100 points. I mean, literally was the only thing on that team that was doing anything.
Yeah.
So and he was a minus player. Obviously, he's not great defensively, so. I just don't know where that helps Pittsburgh. They were bad defensively and scoring. They now that he bite in their lineup. I think Achari is a nice add. I like some of the guys. Again, Riley Smith from the Vegas Golden Knights Stanley Cup team.
Yeah.
He's going to be a nice add for Pittsburgh. If Gensel, they get him back healthy. It sounds like he's skating now. I do think Pittsburgh's going to be. They're going to be a playoff team. I just don't think they have a cup winning team anymore. And it's because of what they have defensively and in net. So it's overtime. I'll give a little play-by-play here.
I didn't get Edmonton scored. McDavid scored in overtime.
Oh, you got McDavid scoring? Okay, Draisaitl. Yep. Okay, so Edmonton wins in overtime.
Yeah. So I went 2-1 tonight. So 10-2 preseason. So that's all right.
Well,
I'm on the fence about Pittsburgh. I lean that they don't make it. I think there's 5 teams in the Atlantic, and then New Jersey. Maybe, I mean, if our friend Biz is right about the Rangers, and I get it. I get my gut says the Rangers.
They have to get something from Kakko and Lafreniere they haven't gotten yet, in my opinion.
My gut says the Rangers might shit the bed. And if they do, I could see Pittsburgh making it in. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think Pittsburgh's going to have a really good shot. But Biz also had it in for the Caps, saying they were going to make it. He was the only one of all of the group there. And, he talked about the Carlson, Wilson, Mantha. Kuznetsov is back. He looks like he's rejuvenated with the new coach. Let's see where Backstrom is. He's had a full year off. I think the Caps not making the playoffs last year was a good thing for that team. I didn't want them to, honestly. And I was glad they started trading guys away. And I think the Sandin pickup was a really nice one. I'm really excited. I'm honestly super excited to see what they do. It's going to be early in the year. They're going to have to win games to kind of get – and they did last year. I mean, they were in the playoff hunt the whole year until they started to trade. They just went on a little bit of a losing streak there. So I think by American Thanksgiving really what kind of team you have. I worry now they keep pushing the start date of the season a little bit later. So I'd say 1 December, first week of December, what you've got, and you could start saying, I'm going to trade. I was glad the Caps traded Hathaway, and not that I didn't like Hathaway or Orlov. I wanted those guys. If you're in the playoffs, those guys you want for sure. And we'll miss Garney, man. Like, he was such a nice injection of toughness like that. I feel like that if he was playing third or fourth line with Nick Dowd and like Hagelin was healthy, I just felt like that was maybe the best fourth line in hockey. And they just weren't healthy all year. Dowder had some issues. Of course, Carl Hagelin retired. We're going to miss him as a PK guy. And he didn't play at all last year. So just really bummer. But, won a couple cups for Pittsburgh.
Big trouble, man. I think they're in big trouble. I think your Caps are in big trouble.
We'll see. Like I said, we were missing so many guys last year. And then they traded at the deadline, and the team, to me, they were like, yeah, now we're trying to improve our draft thing. They got a good draft pick, Ryan Leonard. I'm excited to see. He already looks like a horse. We're just going to have, if we have healthy wings, TJ Oshie's back, should be healthy. I think I have a sneaky suspicion we're going to get a healthy Oshie this year. And then it really, really depends on Kuznetsov and Backstrom, because Dylan Strome had a great year. I was so impressed with him. Yeah. He could play top line, honestly. And that's good. Like, we could have Strome on the top line with Ovechkin. And
I will say this, that in Toronto, the players said that Spencer Carberry, there were some players that said unofficially or like off the record that he ran that room.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I'm excited, man. I'm telling you, like, they didn't fire Lavi, so I'm excited to see what he does. Hey, so I think we're gonna wrap it up, Perlo. I gotta
yeah,
eat
we
some
better
dinner
wrap
and
it up.
going for an hour and a
Yeah,
half.
I gotta be
Won
up
in
there.
overtime. Real quick, thanks for everybody that came in and joined. Really, Jared and Soul Search and my wife and
It was a
anybody
lot of
else.
fun, man.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Rico, we hope you are everything's man. We missed you. It was a
Did
great
Rico
time.
come in the
It's
chat?
always a great time when you can come on. No, he didn't email back. He might be busy too, man. Like, again,
Yeah.
no worries.
He
He
said
just
he
mentioned
needed to
he
get a
wants
new
to get a new
computer.
computer. So
Yeah.
shout out Perlo for coming on. I really appreciate everybody showing up. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Oh, we'll play the
Take care,
outro.
everybody.
Let me play the outro.
We got the outro.
Yeah, let me play the outro.
Hmm.